All right, here we are for the Work Together 3-2. Now, in the Work Together, it can be found on page 66 in your textbook. If I have that correctly, yes. Page 66 in your textbook, and we're going to go through a few transactions. The first transaction we're going to look at is on April 5th, we bought supplies on account from Palm Supply of $500, courtesy of Memo 1. So we take a look at Palm Supply. We write down June 5th, so we have the 5 there because we already know we're in the month. We take a look at supplies that we enter in there and the document reference number of M1. Then moving forward on the journal, we do a general debit of $500 because supplies is going to get debited $500 because it's an asset account, so it's going to raise as far as buying those supplies on account. The next thing we have to take a look at for buying supplies on account is what we need to do is we need to have another entry to accounts payable for $500. So the next entry on this particular one is we are going to put down the 5 because keep in mind from these previous ones that we cannot use a cash credit in this situation because we haven't used cash for it yet. We're buying this on account. So the next thing that we have to put in here is accounts payable. And this is to Palm Supply. And that account payable, this is also coming from M1. We don't need a document reference number, and it's also on the same one. And this one will also be a general credit of $500 because we also need to increase the amount of money we owe to people, so credit's going to go up. We've got a debit and a credit with that transaction. Everything's working out fine. Our next transaction is on So once again, sorry for the miss up there. We have on April 7th, we paid cash for insurance of $300, and we got that from check number 2 because we paid cash, so we're getting that from a check stub. So we're going to, first thing we got to write down is the date. So we put down June 7th. The next thing we have to do is we have to put down what exactly is happening here. The two accounts that are affected. We've got cash and insurance are our two accounts affected. If we take a look on the right-hand side of our journal, we can use the cash account there and we can use the general one. So we need to put in here prepaid insurance. And since prepaid insurance, what's going to happen there, and we also need the document reference number of check number 2, excuse me. So check 2. And then in this situation, since prepaid insurance is an asset, so that's going to go up. The way to increase that asset account or the prepaid insurance account is we need a debit. And we are increasing ourselves $300 worth of insurance. And then what's also going to happen is since we're purchasing it with cash, cash is going to go down on us. So cash is going to have to be credited $300. So then in that transaction, we will have a debit and a credit for the same amount. So we're doing okay. So the next thing we need to take a look at. Our last transaction in this work together is paid cash on account to Palm Supply for $250. So we owed Palm Supply $250. We're going to pay them back for that. So with this particular transaction, the two things that are affected are the accounts payable to Palm Supply as well as cash, and we already have those filled out on our journal. So the first thing we got to do is we got to date it. And the account affected is accounts payable to Palm Supply. And then we got this check from our check number 3, so we put in C3. And then what's going to happen to Palm Supply is that's actually going to go down. So we are going to have to, for accounts payable to Palm Supply, we are actually going to debit $250. So since we're debiting $250 out of that, that means we must have a credit going on as well, which is where cash is going to come in because cash has to go down $250, which is a credit. So then when you zoom out, you should have a journal entry that looks similar to this with the 9th filling out all the way through. Hopefully this work together is beneficial to you. Make sure you're getting what you need to done.